Chandrayaan took 8 days to reach the Moon. It began its journey from the Earth to the Moon on October 22, 2008 and arrived on October 30. The first steps of the mission were to use a series of thrusters to bring the spacecraft into the right trajectory and towards the Moon. During the 8-day mission, the spacecraft had to pass through multiple phases. This included a translunar injection to move it closer to the Moon and a lunar swing-by to orient the spacecraft correctly. As the spacecraft moved towards the Moon, its speed increased from its initial 8 km per second to over 11 km per second. At this time, Chandrayaan made use of its propulsion system to ensure that it was on track for the Moon. The next milestone was to reach lunar orbit. Over the remaining days, the spacecraft adjusted its altitude and speed to get into synchrony with the current Moon orbit. This allowed Chandrayaan to enter the Moon's orbit in as little as 8 days. This maneuver was made possible by the spacecraft's onboard propulsion and navigation systems that kept it on course. The spacecraft then began taking data and beaming it back to ground stations for analysis. Chandrayaan's engineering team was very pleased to have accomplished its mission in 8 days. Journey from Earth to the Moon requires multi-stage strategy and a space vehicle well designed and equipped with solid propulsion systems. Chandrayaan was ready with its complex propulsion system, and finally the mission started on the desired day and time with the aim to reach the Moon. After 8 days of high-speed travel through the emptiness of space, the spacecraft finally approached its destination. This involved passing through various phases such as translunar injection, lunar swing-by, and altitude and speed changes to match the Moon's orbit. Three days into its journey, the spacecraft passed its first major milestone by reaching the interplanetary transfer distance. It then underwent a period of orbital adjustment and orientation changes before eventually entering the Moon's orbit. During the remaining 5 days, Chandrayaan was able to get into synchrony with the lunar orbits and finally reach its destination. This was possible as the craft had solid propulsion systems as well as an excellent navigation system. During its 8-day journey, the spacecraft traveled at speeds of over 11 km per second. Every step was crucial as progress of the mission had to be suitable and within specific timelines. Thus, within the span of 8 days, the spacecraft was able to complete all the necessary procedures and reach the Moon's orbit. This was both a remarkable feat of engineering and a huge success for Chandrayaan and its passionate team of scientists and engineers. When the spacecraft finally entered the lunar orbit, its team celebrated their success of completing 8 days' journey to the Moon. The 8-day journey from the Earth to the Moon was made possible by the hard work and dedication of Chandrayaan's scientists and engineers. The spacecraft was designed with an optimal propulsion system to facilitate the journey and enable it to reach its destination in 8 days.